everyone. I forgot where my camera was for a second. Hello! Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Much Ado About Gaming with me, Jessa Blackthorne. I am so excited to talk to you today. I am so excited to tell you all about all these really awesome board games. We get a lot of HeroClix players in the chat, always asking us, can you talk about HeroClix? We really love HeroClix. We want to hear about HeroClix. And while this is not a HeroClix-based show, I did want to kind of give you guys something cool. And so I thought I would do a show this week about board games and strategy games that WizKids makes that HeroClix fans are going to love. So if you're a HeroClix player and you maybe want to explore board games, traditional, more, board game, tabletop games, or, if you like HeroClix and you're not really interested in board games, but you might be interested, or you have friends who play HeroClix and you're not sure what to get them for a gift and you want to get them something other than HeroClix, this is a great show for you. You're going to love it. I'm so excited to talk about these games. This is actually going to be a series. So we're starting this week with board games for HeroClix fans, but in the next upcoming shows we'll be talking about board games for Star Trek Attack Wing fans, we'll be talking about board games for Dice Masters fans, and of course we'll be talking about board games for RPG fans. So we have some really great stuff going on, really exciting shows coming up, so definitely be sure to check those out if you're interested in any of those things as well. There may be some crossover. I might even have a special guest lined up to talk about stuff. You'll have to find out by watching the shows. So yeah, good afternoon everyone, or yeah, I guess it's noon now, so technically it is the afternoon. If you do have any questions while I'm talking, please feel free to message them in the chat. Lucas, thank you for letting me know. I'm going to fix that right now. Music down. Let me know if that's a little bit better for the volume levels for the show. It's a little hard to tell because I can't have the sound going, so I can't hear it. So thank you giving me a heads up. But yes, if you have any questions, please feel free to message them in the chat. Type question in all caps so I see it, and then I will answer. I'm gonna make sure that the mic sounds okay, so just let me know before I continue so that everyone can hear me. And I will wait for that, and then we'll get started. Yay! Awesome! Thank you so much, guys. So just before I talk about the specific games, I'm going to give you a little information about HeroClix. Maybe you're not familiar with HeroClix, but you're curious about it. HeroClix is, of course, the #1 collectible miniatures game in the world. It's extremely popular. It's a tactical combat game where you pit heroes and villains from your favorite comics, movies, and TV shows against each other in head-to-head combat. It's been around since 2002, so we'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary next year, which is really cool. We're really excited for that. And it's definitely become a mainstay of tabletop gaming, particularly for comic book fans. We have sets for Marvel Comics, sets for DC Comics, TV shows like The Orville, as well as the WWE, which is more recent and really exciting and really cool, as well as a bunch of other iconic licenses over the years. So it's got some really cool stuff going on. And the name, of course, refers to the bases of the figures. Do I have a HeroClix figure within arm's reach? I would show you. I do not. I used to have a bunch of them on top of my computer, and I took them off when I moved, and I haven't put them back yet. I had like a line of them, but I don't have any to grab right this second. But of course, they have dials on the bases of the figures using the combat dial system. And as you play the game and the character takes damage, you use the combat dial to track that character's stats. And when you turn it, it makes a clicking noise, and that's where the name comes from. Clicks. So I think that's really fun. But like I said, we're going to be talking today about board games and tabletop games that we create that HeroClix fans are really going to enjoy. As Mr. Clixo put it, it's like chess with superheroes and powers. I think that's a great description, so thanks for that, Mr. Clixo. And yeah, why don't we get started? Was WWE released right before? I know they were released around the same time, so I'm not 100% sure, because they did come out around a similar time, but they're both great licenses, they're both really exciting, and they're all great sets, and we love them all. We love all our children equally. So yeah, let's get started. I might have to mess with the music level again, so if I do, just let me know. It might be different, it might not be set. Just give me a heads up if you can't hear me. So the way we're kind of going to do this is talking about what different aspects of HeroClix players may enjoy. People might come to HeroClix for different things, and depending on what things you enjoy about HeroClix, there are different games that we think you'll enjoy. So, of course, first up, if you play HeroClix because you like finding synergy between your team, and the act of building your team and finding that synergy is what brings you into the game, I must recommend to you Fantasy Realms. It is such a fun game. It's so great, and it's a perfect kind of type of game for somebody who gets a lot out of finding the synergy in their teams and thinks that's really cool. In Fantasy Realms, your goal is to build the best possible hand of cards determined by their point value by drawing and discarding cards. So it's a really simple game to learn. You draw a card and discard a card. But you have to discard your cards to the center of the table, and other players can pick those cards up. So you have to kind of be strategic about how you're drawing and discarding these cards. The cards are designed to affect one another, potentially granting bonuses based on the other cards in your hand, and that's where the synergy comes in. So you want to try and find cards that are going to affect each other in a way that boosts everything together and really makes your hand a lot stronger. Just as in HeroClix, the best teams of cards play off each other's strengths for the maximum possible effectiveness, and that way they win points at the end of the game. The main difference, I would say, is the playtime of Fantasy Realms is much faster, and once you find that you're creating the synergistic deck, but there's no action, there's no battling it out. It's really all about finding that synergy. And if you're someone like me who really likes to play detective and like, how do I problem solve this? How do I solve this mystery? It's Mr. Clixo. It's sort of like deck building. It's hand building. So you're building a 7-card hand. It's not a deck. So it's like deck building, I guess, on a smaller scale. But if you're a problem solver, if you like solving that mystery and you get really excited about finding that cool, exciting moment of, oh my god, these go together so great, Fantasy Realms is the perfect game for you. It is one of my favorite games that we make. And as I announced, if you watched our show last week, we actually have an expansion coming up for Fantasy Realms. It's called Fantasy Realms: The Cursed Horde. We'll be talking about that a lot more soon. But, you know, definitely a great time to get into Fantasy Realms. Pick up the game, fall in love with the game. If you have the original edition, you might be a little confused because the box looks different. We did recently update the art on the cover, and we're really happy with it. We really love it. So, you know, even if you have the first edition of Fantasy Realms, it's also a great time to pick up another copy of it with the new cover art, so you can be as modern and contemporary as possible. The game plays 3 to 6, and it's for ages 14 and up. And it plays in 20 minutes, and it is an MSRP of $19.99. So, great price point. It's a nice small box game. You can stick it in your bag. Great to, you know, it's not really safe to travel right now, but great to travel when it is safe to go out. You know, you can play it with your friends pretty much anywhere. It's all just cards, so it's really cool. I should also mention that there is a scoring app. So part of the game is the end game has a long section of scoring where you're trying to determine what the total point value of your hand is, and that can take some time. And if you're like me and not great with math, it's a little bit frustrating maybe. But we have solved that problem. We have an app. It's the WizKids app. You can look it up on both the Google Play Store and the Android and the Apple App Store. And you enter your cards in and it will score your hand for you, and it makes it a lot easier to get through that end game portion and makes it a lot faster to find out who won. So Fantasy Realms, definitely check it out. It's a great game. Now, let's go to the opposite of Fantasy Realms. We have Ultra Deluxe 2D Arcade Mega Fighter. This was a release a while ago. It kind of fell under the radar. I really love it. I think it's really fun and really cool. It's a 2D arcade fighting style game. It's kind of designed for you to relive classic arcade action. And while Fantasy Realms, the goal is to find that synergy, and you kind of stop at finding the synergy, with UD2D you construct your team, and then you use it to fight back against your opponent. So, you know, you create a team of 3 fighters from the options of 15 cool fighters, and the fighters are really cool. Like, you can see next to me, Count Bloodbeard, Slumberjack, the Amoeba Bandita, which I think is a great name. I think it's so much fun. So you create it's a 3v3 tag team of fighters that you create from a pool of 15 fighters, and it has a great sense of humor. Each fighter has their own abilities and evocative pixel art, and then you can play button cards to execute different attacks and chain those attacks together to create deadly, powerful combos. So like I said, it's kind of the opposite of Fantasy Realms in that the synergy part is really just the first part, and then you get to use that synergized team to fight back against your opponent. Winning the game really comes down to team construction and not only knowing what your team can do, but also what the others can do in a 1v1 environment. Like you can... Yeah, Nicholas, I was about to point out, it's a 2-player game. Great for one-on-one play. You know, you're at home with your family members, and that's kind of where you are right now. This is great for that because it only needs 2 players. It's for ages 14 and up, and it plays in 30 minutes, so it's nice and quick, but you still have that feeling like I'm in arcade. It's very nostalgic. We've released a couple of games that kind of feel very nostalgic lately. UD2D is definitely one of them, and I really love it. It's so much fun. The art is also really cool because it does have that really evocative pixel art. That's great for if, you know, that you grew up in an arcade, you love going to arcades, or you just love pixel art. I mean, so all of these games that I'm talking about today are available now. You can get them, you know, online in hopefully in your friendly local game store. But if you're unable to get there, you can check them out on shop.wizkids.com, or just check them out online. Some of these are available on Amazon. It really, you know, find them where you can find them. Hopefully at your friendly local game store. I know things are challenging right now, but if you can, go there. They need your support, and we love supporting your FLGS. So, like I said, UD2D. I am reading the comments. Yeah, absolutely. The quicker to play games are so much fun because they a lot of the times, like when I've played HeroClix, it can sometimes you get analysis paralysis and you're kind of sitting there like not sure what to do. So these, because they move faster and they feel faster, you don't really get caught up in them as easily. And that's what I think is really cool about games like Fantasy Realms and like UD2D. They're both great games. So, next up, if the reason you play HeroClix is that you like activating the thematic powers of your characters and kind of seeing how that flavor is built in, you cannot do better than Bumuntu. I love Bumuntu. I talk about it on this show all the time. I think Bumuntu is so great. It is a perfect blend of simplicity, tactics, and variance. Since you don't use every animal during the game... Wait, let me back up. Let me start over. Bumuntu is a game in which you are playing as a tribal leader trying to win the favor of the animals, and you do that by moving across the board and collecting animal tiles to score points with at the end of the game. But each animal tile has a unique ability unique to that animal. For example, we have the rhinoceros, which can charge across the board, or the flamingo, which can fly up into the air and move your character to a different flamingo tile. So they all have fun little thematic abilities that absolutely suit those animals, and you're trying to collect those tiles in order to score the most points. But the scoring changes during the game. So when you land on certain tiles, you can change the scoring value of, you know, one of the animals, and that kind of makes it so you can't use one strategy during the game because, you know, the value of your animal could go from being the most valuable to being the least valuable in a second. And that makes it a lot more strategic, and you do have to think on your feet. And for HeroClix players who, you know, like playing against teams where the goalposts kind of can change because of the way that the character's abilities work, this is also a great one for you as well. Like I said, the game board's always different because the animals are laid out randomly. You don't always use every animal. You always leave out one or two. I think it's two. You always leave out two animals before you play the game, so you're never going to play the same game twice. It's always variable. And the great thing about it is because of the scoring always changing and picking up the tiles. Every turn has importance, which will definitely appeal to the competitive HeroClix crowd. It's quick enough too, it's also a 30 minutes game. It's quick enough that you can play it in multiple games, and strategic enough that you'll always be engaged in it because everything's always changing, so you always got to keep up the pace with it. It's a 2 to 5 player game, and it's for ages 10 and up, so this is a great one if, you play HeroClix with your family, you play HeroClix with your kids. This is an awesome one for that. It's got animals. Kids love animals. It's, like I said, a 30-minute game, and it is $39.99. It is, as all the other games, available at your friendly local game store and online, so absolutely check it out. Bumuntu is one of my favorite games that we make. It is so much fun. I should play it again soon because I haven't played it in a while because, like I said a few minutes ago, I just moved. So it's something that I'm going to pick up again. Maybe I'll do a live play of it on this show, Maybe I'll bring someone on and we'll play the game and it'll be awesome. We should definitely do that. Bumuntu is a wonderful option if you really go for activating the thematic powers of each character, and that's really what gets you excited when you play HeroClix, or trying to, stay on your feet with an ever-changing scoring or ever-changing goals. HeroClix Bumuntu is a perfect option for that. Next up, if you like a multiplayer fun with a take that element, you like, kind of messing with your opponents, Stampede is great. It is also an animal game. Animal games I love animal games. Stampede is a great option for you if you really like, finding ways to mess up your opponents, throw them off their game. I cannot recommend Stampede enough. In Stampede, you are trying to create the ultimate stamp collection by picking up animal stamps, activating their abilities, and then hopefully getting them into your stamp collecting book. Each animal stamp has a different ability, and there are varying win conditions depending on how you like to play. You can either get one of each animal stamp to win, or you get 5 of the same animal stamp, unless it is one of the animal stamps, which is the parrot, which you only need 4 of. So the reason I say it's great for players who like to kind of screw up their opponents is that some of the animal stamps allow you to do things like swap cards with your opponent, or steal your opponent's animal stamp, or, change the board during the game. So, your opponent might have their next turn ready, they know what they're gonna do, but oh hey, you swap the center area where everyone can draw animal stamps, and suddenly they can't do what they were planning to do. So a lot of people I know love that competitive, oh, I'm gonna get you. Stampede is a great option for that. You can play it in a heads-up or a multiplayer way, but on our website, WizKids.com, there is also a free expansion that you can download. It's a print-and-play expansion, and it actually will allow you to play it in a tournament style, where every time someone wins with a certain win condition, that win condition is no longer available. So, for example, if you won the game with 5 lions, you could no longer win with 5 lions for the subsequent rounds of the tournament. So that makes it a lot more strategic, and especially if you like a tournament-style game and kind of working around those strategies, it's another great reason to pick up Stampede. You want to win, but obviously if you're screwing up your opponent too much, that kind of paints a huge target on yourself. You can also kind of play with more shallow level of strategy or a deep level of strategy, which also kind of, it's great for the casual HeroClix player and the really competitive HeroClix player for that reason. You can, attack your opponent's nearest character versus attack a character that'll work most in the end game, and that's kind of, if you do that during HeroClix, you can kind of transfer that thought process to Stampede. Attacking the player whose hand is, building, and you can see that they're getting close to a win because you do see what is in your opponent's stamp album at all times, versus attacking a player, versus attacking someone who you can see is maybe starting to do well, but you can tell that they're going to be doing better in the end game. So it has that like variability when it comes to how you want to strategize, and you can kind of choose that, and it doesn't have the stress of always having to be deeply strategic, and both of those methods of playing are effective. Next up, we have, I'm sure all of you expected this to be in this video, we have Mage Knight Ultimate Edition. If you like more slow burn gameplay, where early choices are going to pay off, I can speak. Early choices are going to pay off for you later. Mage Knight is the way to go. Of course, the reason we also included Mage Knight, or one of the reasons, is that it incorporates the combat dial system, and the combat dial system kind of originated with Mage Knight, so I couldn't not include it. You can see the combat dials right there next to me. But in Mage Knight, you are one of 4 powerful Mage Knights as you explore and conquer the Empire. So you're going to build your army, you're going to fill your deck with powerful spells, explore caves. It's very much, it feels like an RPG, but it's more of an action-packed RPG. It does feel a lot like HeroClix, because you do kind of, if you strategize in HeroClix where you have a deck, or it's not a deck, if you have a team, I don't know why I called it a deck. If you have a team that is designed for really getting strong decisions early in the game and then watching them pay off, and you get really excited seeing the payoff of your early actions at the end of the game, Mage Knight's a great game for you. It incorporates card drafting, it incorporates deck building, it incorporates dice rolling, it incorporates a lot of the things that HeroClix players love about HeroClix. It is $124.99, and that is because it is not only the base game, but it also includes all of the expansions, plus 5 new cards. So it's called the Ultimate Edition because it is an amalgamation of all of the different versions of the game that are out there and available. It is a great board game. It was designed by Vlada, who is an iconic board game designer. Great to get you into board games. If you're into HeroClix and maybe have some interest in RPG, but tabletop RPGs aren't for you, Mage Knight is a great option for that, because it does have the action and, you know, the grid movement and the different playstyles and strategies of HeroClix, but it's very much got that RPG element as well. It's a nice stepping stone into RPG for someone who does play HeroClix, or, you know, maybe plays HeroClix and doesn't really do board games, but would play a board game with a HeroClix element. Great option. It plays 1 to 5, so if you have to play alone, there are solo rules for the game, and it's for ages 14 and up. It plays in 1 hour or more. It can be a long game, so definitely you want to make sure you're setting aside time to really play. But it's great. Words are hard. You can kind of use your opponents as your allies, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to help them the whole game, and that, I know, sometimes shows up in HeroClix, so it's a great way to incorporate that as well. Definitely check it out. Mage Knight Ultimate Edition, available at your friendly local game store, available online. This is an iconic game, absolutely one to check out. I mean, I love dice rolling. I think dice rolling is fun. Unless I don't roll well, then it's not fun. But it does incorporate dice rolling, so I did want to mention that for those of you who are fans of dice rolling. Alright, and then our final game, which of course I was going to include this. If you just love HeroClix and you're like, I want to play HeroClix, but as a board game, you know, I don't want to collect HeroClix, I just want to play HeroClix as a board game, I want to get that experience without having to buy lots of packs. If you're feeling that way, check out Marvel Strike Teams. It's a HeroClix strategy game, and of course, it uses the Marvel IP, so if you are a Marvel fan and you play with Marvel HeroClix teams, It's perfect for you because it has some of the iconic Marvel characters. It's designed by Andrew Parks, who is an excellent game designer. It plays 2 to 5 players, and you are going to... It's basically a HeroClix tabletop game. All the bases all have Clix figures. You can see the different characters: Captain America, Iron Man, Agent May. I don't know why I forgot her name for a second. But you face off in the battle of good versus evil. It's actually an asymmetrical tabletop game, which is really cool. One player is going to play the mastermind, while the other players are the heroes trying to stop the villain and save the world. There are standalone missions, or you can play it in a campaign style. It incorporates grid movement. It incorporates all of the different things that, you know, is in classic HeroClix, but it has a little bit extra to make it a real strategy game. It has story, which is really cool. It has multiple map cards. Mike, no Dice Masters this week. No cute penguins. I wish there were cute penguins. I love cute penguins. I miss the cute penguins from last week. We will be doing a Dice Masters show soon, though. This in the same vein as this, you know, Dice Masters fans, board games that they will love. Look out for that. Keep an eye on our social media. I might be doing it next week. I still have to find something out, but keep an eye. We will be talking about Dice Masters sometime in this series very, very soon. But Strike Teams, I agree, Randall. Strike Teams didn't get enough love. I love Strike Teams. It's really fun. It's really cool. It does also have an expansion that came out alongside it. It is the Avengers Initiative expansion, which incorporates a couple new villains, including Loki, as well as the Avengers heroes. Black Widow is in there. So it's a great option. If you love the Avengers, you can get Marvel Strike Teams plus the Avengers expansion and have an even more stacked team. Like I said, so if you like HeroClix with a campaign and you like having that campaign style, or you want more story out of your HeroClix, this is a great way to go. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a penguin and I'm just going to have it. I'm going to get a real I'm going to steal a penguin from the zoo. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. I promise. Probably. But we will find a way. I will find a way to incorporate penguins in this show. If you love penguins, I love penguins. We're going to make penguins happen. Oh, I love puffins too. Puffins are the best. See, y'all are distracting me now with these penguins and these puffins and cute animals. I love cute animals. Bumuntu and Stampede both have cute animals. Marvel Strike Teams doesn't have cute animals, but it's a great game. So absolutely check it out. It's HeroClix as a strategy game. You can't get much better than that. I want puffins too. I'm going to find a way to get us penguins and puffins on this show. I will figure it out. We're gonna do it. Check out Marvel Strike Teams if you love HeroClix and you want a strategy game tabletop experience. It's the perfect merging of the two. It's available at your friendly local game store or online. It's $59.99. It plays 2 to 5 players, and it only takes 40 minutes. So it's not a super fast game, but it definitely has the same pace as I would say an average game of HeroClix does in my experience. So absolutely check it out. Yes, penguins and puffins. We are going to have all of the penguins and all of the puffins. I will find a way to keep them on this show. Maybe I'll put like a little dancing penguin in the corner on one side and a little dancing puffin in the corner on the other side, and then we can vote on the penguins and puffins, something silly like that. It'll be fun. It'll be great. That is our show for today. I hope you enjoyed hearing about all these great games. Just to really quickly revisit everything that we talked about. If you like, you know, synergizing your teams, and the act of building your team and finding that synergy is what gets you going in HeroClix, check out Fantasy Realms. We have an expansion coming, Fantasy Realms The Cursed Horde. If you like the act of constructing your team and then watching them be really awesome, check out Ultra Deluxe 2D Arcade Mega Fighter, aka UD2D. That is a great option for you. If you like activating thematic powers and you like evolving your strategy as the game goes on, check out Bumuntu with cool animals who do cool things. It also has that kind of chess feeling like HeroClix has, like someone mentioned earlier, so that's also a good thing to keep in mind. If you like giving your opponents a hard time and to take that element in your HeroClix games and having that in a multiplayer environment, check out Stampede, which also has a free print and play expansion for tournament-style gameplay. If you like a slow burn strategy where your early choices pay off later, and you like the combat dial system, check out Mage Knight. This show is all about board games that HeroClix fans are gonna love, Jose, and that's what we're talking about today. But if you just love HeroClix, you love playing HeroClix, you want a story-based approach to HeroClix, or you want a HeroClix campaign in a box that you can play, pull out anytime, and have it change up every game, of course, check out Marvel Strike Teams, plus the Marvel Strike Teams Avengers Initiative expansion. Fantasy Realms does kind of feel like that, Lurker, I would agree. But, yes. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. HeroClix fans, I hope you kind of enjoyed this little cool thing for you. Coming up in the next couple shows, we'll be talking about Star Trek Attack Wing, Dice Masters, RPGs. Keep an eye on our social media. WizKids on Facebook, WizKids Games on Twitter, WizKids on Instagram, where we'll be posting about what next week's show is going to be about. So you can see what other board games you might love if you play some of our collectible or other types of games or other types of products that we produce. Be sure to check out Mini Mayhem with V tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. She has some cool stuff to show you. I actually saw a bunch of what she's showing you tomorrow, and it's going to be really awesome, and you're going to really enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for checking the show out. I am Jessa Blackthorne, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope that next week I will be able to bring you lots of cool content as well as penguins and puffins. Have a great week, guys. Bye!